Hi, this is Nicholas Hamawi from AGI Training for Microsoft. In this screencast, I'm going to show you how to prepare a USB key for use as a Windows 7 installation source. Due to their small size, ease of use, and fast read rates, USB keys are very convenient for a quick installation compared to carrying around a DVD. This method is especially convenient in smaller network environments where you have a few computers to upgrade, but not quite enough computers to justify setting up a PXE boot server and Windows deployment services. It's also useful if your computer doesn't have a DVD drive like my own notebook computer. I decided that it was more important to have a second hard drive rather than a DVD drive, so creating a Windows 7 USB key was just what I needed. As a prerequisite, you'll need to configure your system's BIOS settings to ensure that your USB drive is selected as the primary boot device. So here's what you'll need. A USB key. 4 GB should be fine because that's big enough to hold any Windows 7 installation DVD. You'll also need the Windows 7 installation DVD itself. And finally, a computer with a USB port and a DVD drive. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is pop in your Windows 7 installation DVD. And you can see I've already done that, and it's assigned the drive letter D. Then you want to insert your USB key, and I've just done that, and it shows up here as drive letter F. Pay attention to the drive letters. You're going to need to use them later on. Also, to help you identify your USB key later, it's a good idea to right-click on it and choose Properties, and take note of the capacity. My particular USB key is 15 gigabytes or almost 15 gigabytes. It'll actually show up later when I'm using the disk part utility as 15 gigabytes. Now's a good time to check if you have data located on your USB key. In my case, I don't have any, but if you have some, now's a good time to move it to a safe location because we're going to be reformatting and partitioning that USB key in just a moment. The next thing you need to do is open up Command Prompt. So I'm going to go to the Start menu and type in CMD. Now if you're running Windows Vista, you might want to hold down the Control and Shift key before you press Enter. That will ensure that the command prompt opens up with administrative rights. Now that I've got my command prompt open, I want to run the disk part utility. It's at this point you need to be extremely careful. It's very easy with the disk part utility to accidentally destroy data on your hard drives. It's probably a good idea to back up your entire system before even starting the disk part utility. The first command I need to run is called list disk. That will show me a listing of my disk drives. What I'm looking for is my USB key. I can see that it has shown up as disk number 2. To be absolutely sure that that is my USB key, I'm going to go ahead and remove it and type the list disk command again, and I can see that it no longer is listed. So if I insert my USB key again and type list disk, I can see that it has come back as disk number 2. So I'm absolutely sure that disk number 2 is the USB key that I want to work with. So that's the one I'm going to select. So you type in select disk 2. To be sure that it has been selected, I want to do list disk again. This time I'll see an asterisk next to disk 2. That tells me that disk 2 has been selected. Now I'm ready to clean that USB key. I'm going to type in the clean command. Now again, I want to warn you, this is going to wipe out all data and partitions on that USB key. So now that my USB key has been completely cleaned, I'm ready to create a primary partition. And you can do that by typing in create partition primary. At this point, I can list my partitions. You can type list partition. And I can see that partition 1 is the only partition on my USB key. Because there's an asterisk next to it, I know that it's already selected. If you don't see that asterisk already there, you'll need to type select partition 1. Now I need to mark that partition as active. That way Windows knows that that is the partition that it's supposed to be booting from. So I type in active. Next I want to list my volumes. So I type in the list volume command, and I can see that my 15 gigabyte USB key has been assigned drive letter F, and it's on volume 6, and it is selected. Again, if yours is not selected, you'll want to do that now by typing in select volume Now you can either type in F or 6. In your case, the actual drive letter and volume number may be different. Now I'm ready to format my USB key, and you can do that by typing in the format command with the parameters fs, which means file system, equals ntfs. That stands for the NT file system. You can also use the quick option. That will prevent a low-level format. In this case, I'm going to use the quick option. Okay, so now that my USB key has been partitioned and formatted, I'm all done with the disk part utility. So I can type in exit. But I'm not ready to leave the command prompt. You'll need to go to your Windows 7 DVD drive. Now I recall that mine is drive letter D. So I'm going to type in D:, and I'm going to get a directory listing. On this Windows 7 DVD, you'll need to look for a tool in the boot directory. So I'm going to CD into the boot directory and do a dir. That tool is what you'll need to use in order to make that USB key bootable. To get information on the bootsect command, just type in bootsect/help. The option I'm looking for Windows 7 boot disks is the NT60. So in order to add the boot sector to the USB key, I'll need to type in bootsect/NT60, and I want to do that on drive letter F. Again, be careful to choose the correct drive letter for your USB key. So now I have a USB key that has been partitioned, formatted, and now set up as a bootable USB key. Since I'm still at the command prompt, it's a good time to copy the files from my Windows 7 installation DVD to my newly formatted USB key. So I want to go back to the root of my D drive, which is my installation DVD drive. And I want to type in the command xcopy/E, which means to copy all subdirectories, including empty ones. And I want to copy it to the drive letter F. Again, pay attention to your drive letters. Actually, I forgot to select the files that I want to copy over, so let's do that again. So what you need to do is type the xcopy command with the /E option. That means to copy all directories and subdirectories, including empty subdirectories. I want to copy everything, so I'll put in ****. And then I want to send that to the F drive, which is my USB key. Again, pay attention to which drive letter you're copying your files to. Take note that the installed WIM file is the largest file and is actually the image of the Windows 7 operating system. That file will take a long time to copy over. Just be patient. Okay, so our copying is now complete. So we should have a USB key that is bootable and which contains all the source files from the Windows 7 installation DVD. So let's go ahead and see if it works. Okay, so you can see now that Windows is loading. But make sure that when you try to boot from your USB key that you remember to set your USB key as the primary boot device in your BIOS settings. Anyway, I'm not going to go through the entire installation, but you can see that everything seems to be installing just fine. Well, that concludes this screencast. Again, this is Nicholas Hamawi from AGI Training for Microsoft. See you next time.